Have you ever wondered what the most beautiful places on Earth would look like if nature were free to paint its own dream? There, mountains, oceans, deserts, forests, and frozen landscapes do more than create breathtaking scenery. They awaken emotions that are difficult to put into words. Each land possesses its own unique beauty, sometimes as majestic as a grand symphony, and at other times as delicate as the very moment when light first touches the world. Some places leave you in awe from the very first glance, while others remain quietly in your heart long after you have looked away. And today, we will embark on a journey to explore the most beautiful places on Earth, where the beauty of nature surpasses even the wildest imagination. If you are looking for the world's most beautiful places, Cedar Mountain, at an altitude of nearly 8,200 feet, is a suggestion with green, rolling grass on one side and a faulted cliff on the other. The special feature of this mountain is the steep and sharp ridgeline, creating a natural, winding stone wall, becoming the most characteristic view of the entire Dolomites mountain region. The geological fault phenomenon here creates a nearly 90-degree vertical cliff, clearly exposing the rock layers torn apart from the collision between the African and European tectonic plates. Located on the slopes below are ancient wooden huts from the 19th century, built entirely of highly durable larch pine trunks with roofs weighed down by heavy stones against storms. Right at the foot of the mountain is a valley preserving a handcrafted wood-carving tradition since the 17th century, where locals utilized their winter isolation time to chisel spiritual artworks. Because the cliff stretches precisely from east to west, the mountain acts like a sundial, helping ancient farmers look at the shadow cast on the meadows to know their working hours. Nestled under the towering cliffs of the Dolomites, Val di Funes is the perfect definition of a real-world fairy tale, where lush green meadows roll to meet the jagged, rugged grandeur of limestone peaks. Behind the valley rise peaks sharp as the fangs of prehistoric beasts, soaring nearly 10,000 feet high and forming a geological wall that blocks the cold winds from the north. The landscape here is a powerful contrast between the rolling green hills, soft as silk ribbons in the valley, and the vertical grey limestone cliffs piercing straight into the sky. Val di Funes is home to the Villeneuve Brillenschaf, an ancient breed of sheep with white fleece and black patches around their eyes, looking as if they are wearing glasses amidst the alpine meadows. The most impressive experience is hiking the Adolf Munkel Trail right at the base of the sheer cliffs, where on one side is a 1,000-foot rock wall and on the other is a deep valley. Val di Funes is famous for the enrosadera phenomenon, when the sunset turns the Dolomite cliffs from grey to a fiery orange-red, then gradually into deep purple before sinking into darkness. Known as the Emerald Gem of Germany, Königssee Lake appears like a soft turquoise ribbon, winding gracefully between the rugged grey cliffs of the majestic Alps region. Although the water surface looks as calm as a mirror, few people know that the lake basin suddenly faults and plunges vertically to a maximum depth of nearly 623 feet. This entire peaceful space acts like a giant mirror, completely reflecting the sharp color contrast between the surrounding dark pine forests and the surrounding rocky mountains. The most interesting characteristic here is the strange echo phenomenon, bouncing back from 1 to 7 times when the boatman blows a traditional trumpet against the cliff. Right on the western shore of the lake is St. Bartholomew Church, with its unique onion-shaped red roofs, an ancient structure that once belonged to the kings of Bavaria. The best real experience journey for you is trekking through the old forest along a 1,000-foot-high cliff to touch the waters of Obersee Lake, hidden behind. Located at the boundary where wild nature and human architectural illusion merge into one, Sintra Cascas Natural Park opens up a mystical space with mossy castles looming in the mist. This vast nature reserve stretches over an area of about 56 square miles and lies directly against the pristine edge of the Atlantic Ocean. The landscape structure in this region has a clear separation between inland fruit orchards and the rugged, wind-swept coastal cliff strips. When walking on the sedimentary rocks near the seawater edge, you can see with your own eyes ancient dinosaur footprints from the Jurassic period. Dominating the highest peak is the Pena Palace, blending a crazy mix of Gothic and Renaissance architectural styles with vibrant lemon-yellow walls in the mist. This place was once the luxurious summer capital for King Ferdinand II and royal aristocrats, leaving behind an ancient complex of architectural heritage across centuries. Hidden away like a jade gemstone that rejects all media spotlight, Lake Orta is the very place redefining a species of luxury that is slowly going extinct in the world. The highlight located in the middle of the lake is San Giulio Island, which is associated with a 4th century legend about Saint Giulio coming to the island to tame wild beasts and build a church. Since the monastery's stone walls here are extremely thick, you will have your mobile phone signals completely blocked, creating an ideal tech-disconnected space. The only path surrounding the island is called the Way of Silence, where handwritten plaques with profound philosophical messages in multiple languages are placed. On the hillside, looking down at the water, is the Sacromonte di Orta heritage site, built in 1590, consisting of 21 chapels containing hundreds of terracotta statues. This landmark was also the place philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche visited in 1882, bringing great inspiration for him to write his great philosophical work, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. You are arriving in Rhine, a fishing paradise among the most spectacular on the planet, possessing a unique beauty that has captivated countless geography-loving and traveling souls. The 1,470 feet high Rheinebringen Peak opens up a view encompassing the entire granite cliff system, standing firm like a crown, embracing the ocean. The perfect structured contrast between the small chapel below and the massive cliff behind it creates an iconic and breathtaking landscape picture from this angle. The journey to this mountain peak will completely neutralize cellular signals due to the surrounding miles-thick granite structures, forcing you to directly dialogue with your inner self amidst a dramatic, isolated space. For over 60 days and nights during summer, the midnight sun phenomenon challenges the human biological clock, painting a brilliant lemon-yellow color over the cliffs for 24 hours. The sky here from September to next March transforms into an unearthly magical stage as emerald green northern lights begin to dance continuously. This is Rovinj, a town that exists to challenge all linear architectural thinking with a network of pastel houses crowded on a rock along the Adriatic Sea. In 1763, local residents filled in a narrow strait to connect this original orphan island into a solid peninsula. Surrounding the area is a cluster of 14 orphan rocky islands acting as an outer geological wall to protect the harbor from storms. The vibrantly colored house walls rise directly from the gray rocky shelves near the water, creating a landscape with a clear contrast. Stepping into the central area, you will move on steep streets paved with endemic limestone that has been worn completely smooth and shiny like mirrors. Right behind the town is the Myrna Valley, where wild white truffles grow under the ground of ancient oak forests with an economic value of thousands of dollars per pound. This is Ronda, one of the oldest towns in Spain, possessing prehistoric cave paintings hidden deep as a trace of the ancient past. This landmark is the birthplace of modern bullfighting with the ancient Plaza de Toros ring built in 1785 as a cultural landmark. The most monumental highlight is the 321-foot-high Puente Nuevo stone bridge, rising straight from the canyon floor to connect two parts of the town. Right inside the steep cliff, the 200-foot-deep La Mina underground staircase system, chiseled by tens of thousands of slaves in the 14th century, still leads to the Guadalquivir River. The absolute contrast between the soft stone arches and the fierce vertical cliffs has put Ronda on the homepage of tens of thousands of global art platforms. When the sun rises, the light reflects on the white houses and the stone bridge, creating a clear setting where nature and humans blend together. Takachiho Gorge in Japan is a geological masterpiece formed from volcanic ash, with basalt cliffs rising up to 328 feet. The river flowing through these hexagonal rock formations creates a surreal and dramatic landscape for the entire gorge area. The strong contrast between the dark grey cliffs and the clear blue water has made this place famous as a designated national scenic site. Visitors can rent small boats to travel directly under the towering cliffs to clearly feel the magnificent scale of the whole gorge. Beyond possessing spectacular natural beauty, Takachiho Gorge is also associated with many ancient legends in the long culture and history of Japan. The perfect combination of special geological structures and spiritual values has made this place a destination that attracts many visitors. Nestled right at the foot of Germany's highest Zugspitze peak, Eibsee Lake appears with emerald green water, creating a corner of the Maldives hidden in the heart of the frozen Alps. The rugged basin of this lake was formed by a terrible mountain landslide about 3,750 years ago, with collapsed rock volume reaching over 400 million cubic meters. The most characteristic feature here is the system of 8 small islands scattered along the northern shore, which are actually giant blocks of stone left after the ancient mountain collapse. Looking through the crystal-clear water, you can see ancient tree trunks knocked down centuries ago that do not rot due to the high calcium content and frozen water preservation. This is also the ideal habitat for the Ice Age Alps lake trout, capable of enduring extreme cold in deep water layers and only swimming to shallow areas when breeding season arrives. Wrapping around the 3-mile perimeter of the lake are dense pine forests growing closely together, creating a green wall blocking sunlight from shining down on the shores. The Huanglong Scenic Area in China possesses a system of colorful terraced pools formed by the accumulation of minerals over 400,000 years. The golden limestone sediment strips winding along the valley create a surreal beauty resembling the image of a giant dragon lying stretched out. This system includes over 3,300 pools located at a high altitude with a calcium carbonate content accounting for over 95% of the special natural geological structure. The combination of perennial snow-capped peaks and mineral waterfalls creates an important habitat for many rare and endangered animal species. This World Natural Heritage Site is an iconic destination for those who love exploring magnificent beauty and the most diverse ecosystem in Asia. Daocheng Yading is known as the last pure land on our blue planet because it possesses a pristine and magnificent natural landscape. This location sits on a plateau with an average altitude of 19,790 feet, which creates a harsh but captivating ecological environment. The eternal snow-capped peaks standing tall amidst the clouds form an impressive natural fortress that challenges the footsteps of every adventurous explorer. More than 30 high-altitude lakes with surreal colors formed from glacial melt have turned this land into a unique ink wash painting. The rapid transition from dense forests in the valley to the region of eternal rocky cliffs creates a spectacular change in the scenery. Every viewpoint here bears the mark of an ancient glacial age, which contains geological mysteries that have never been fully explored by humans. Libo Shaoqigong in China is a natural masterpiece recognized by UNESCO for its spectacular and pristine karst limestone landscape, which is the most primitive in the world. The biggest difference lies in the phenomenon of ancient trees taking root directly into limestone crevices right under the fast-flowing emerald green river. The waterfall system here is extremely impressive, with 68 tiers of waterfalls cascading in succession over a river section only about 1 mile long, creating a magical beauty. The combination of majestic mountains and a unique hydrological system has formed a miniature landscape garden in the heart of this World Heritage Site. This geological structure is proof of the persistent topographical transformation process over millions of years that nature has bestowed upon this place. Libo Shaoqigong retains its natural pristine beauty, helping to preserve precious biodiversity for the primeval forest ecosystem in the area. The experience here provides an authentic look at the great creative power of water when acting on the surface of solid limestone. Kelimutu is a unique natural wonder located on Flores Island with 3 crater lakes that possess mysteriously changing colors. The vibrant color shifts of the lakes create a surreal landscape due to the chemical interaction between minerals at the bottom. The lakes are situated at an altitude of 5,377 feet above sea level, and each lake functions as a completely independent entity. The sheer cliffs surrounding the water create an absolute natural boundary that makes the landscape isolated and extremely magnificent. Kelimutu serves as a powerful testament to the grand volcanic creative force where natural beauty blends with mysterious secrets yet to be solved. Belitung Island is a global geological masterpiece where giant granite rocks millions of years old rest proudly along the emerald blue ocean shores. This surreal landscape on the island is recognized by UNESCO as a global geopark because of the harmonious combination between ancient stones and water. These rocks have massive dimensions, as some individual boulders are as tall as a 4-story building lying scattered right next to the sea. What makes this location different from other lands is the complete absence of intense volcanic mountain ranges. Besides the smooth white sand beaches formed from weathered quartz, the island also possesses brilliant turquoise lakes from old tin mines. This island preserves up to 19% of the total amount of tektite meteor glass stones that scientists have discovered around the whole world. The tranquility of nature here creates a mesmerizing beauty, making this place an ideal destination for those who love geology. Koh Lipe is a precious gem located in the southern tip of Thailand, which possesses transparent water and white sand as fine as powder, attracting every visitor. With a total area of only 1.78 square miles, this tiny island is completely isolated from the mainland and offers a very quiet resort space. Upon stepping onto the island, you will be overwhelmed by colorful coral reefs lying right near the shore, which create an extremely rich marine ecosystem. This area is recognized by UNESCO as a global geopark, a prestigious title that confirms the unique and ancient geological value of the nature here. The contrast between the rugged sedimentary rock formations and the soft, sandy shore creates a majestic natural landscape that few places can compare with. This island is not just a simple tourist destination, but also a pristine natural treasure that the community is joining hands to preserve and protect strictly. This is Gearthorn, a sanctuary of peace where time stops to make way for a fairy tale world without car horns hidden in the heart of the vast Netherlands. This magical land is formed from over 100 small islands gracefully connected through a network of 176 softly curved wooden bridges. Along the pathways are ancient houses possessing thick, straw-thatched roofs, according to traditional techniques bearing the deep imprint of quiet and melancholy time. When summer arrives, the canal banks explode with the wild colors of tens of thousands of hydrangea bushes, naturally shifting shades based on soil acidity. Since the central area completely rejects the presence of motor vehicles, you can only leisurely walk, bicycle, or row through the crystal-clear waters. The best real experience journey here is driving a small boat yourself, gliding gently on the calm water surface to touch the cool and pristine atmosphere. Located isolated at the edge of the Arctic, Sarek National Park is one of Europe's last remaining wild frontiers that challenges all human survival limits. This vast nature reserve, spanning about 760 square miles, possesses Sweden's densest concentration of glaciers, with 100 active permanent ice masses. The landscape here is deeply diversified, from 100-year-old ancient pine forests and birch valleys to alpine mountain peaks rising above 6,500 feet. To explore this land, you must carry a 50-pound backpack and wade through freezing 35 degrees Fahrenheit glacial rivers rushing waist-deep without any supporting bridges. This is Sweden's most inaccessible national park because it completely rejects roads, featuring no marked trails and no cabins for travelers. Known as the Wild Sanctuary of Scotland, Glen Etive opens up a vast valley with jagged rocky peaks and deep ravines weathered by time. Right at the head of the valley stands the iconic mountain Boischaille Etive Moor, like a giant guardian through the years. Flowing along the valley is the River Etive, one of the few rare, undammed waterways in the United Kingdom. This globally famous destination was chosen as the backdrop for many blockbuster movies such as Braveheart and James Bond's Skyfall. At dawn, the sunlight illuminates the snow-capped peaks and sparkling glaciers, creating a quiet, freezing space. The exploration journey from the valleys up to the high peaks will give you the chance to touch an impressive, pristine world. Nestled in the hills of Aragon and located about 35 minutes' drive from Teruel, Albarracín is a hidden gem in the heart of Sierra de Albarracín. This ancient stronghold imprisons a bare, medieval era with a labyrinth of terracotta pink wooden houses precariously clinging to cliffs, embraced by a winding river and guarded by a great 14th century fortress wall. Although turned into ruins at the end of the war, dedicated restoration work over decades restored the town to its pristine beauty, with buildings featuring a reddish-pink color from local mortar. Thanks to this revival, it is dubbed the most beautiful village in Spain, possessing narrow, winding streets and impressive defensive walls that create a real-life fairy tale picture. The village's charm also comes from the legend of Doña Blanca, the missing daughter of the King of Aragon, whose ghost reportedly appears on summer full moon nights to walk down to the river to bathe. Concluding the journey from the old town straight to the deep canyon, every step of yours touches both majestic nature and a completely different medieval world. Sitting right at the tip of a peninsula in southwestern Slovenia, Piran is a hidden gem possessing the most picturesque views on the entire Adriatic coast. The romantic highlight in the town centre is the ancient Venetian-style house with a unique stone relief bearing the words, "Let them talk," built by a merchant to protect the girl he loved from local gossip. The piece here is sheltered by the ancient Setchvelia Salina salt pan on the outskirts, where halophytic vegetation acts as a natural filter to keep the seawater around the peninsula at record transparency. When walking deep into the narrow alleys enclosed by thick limestone walls in the core zone, mobile signals are completely blocked, forcing you to put away your phone and directly dialogue with your inner self. This unique charm turns this small town into a destination with an intense attraction for those seeking an isolated ancient world. Every time the sun rises, the light reflecting on the beige and pink houses along with the ancient church bell tower creates a magnificent setting where nature and humans blend together. From a dead zone that once bore tens of thousands of tons of explosives from a storm-ridden military base, this land has broken through in a dramatic geographical revival to become Hitachinaka Seaside Park, a flower ocean of surreal colors. At the end of April, Miharashi Hill explodes with the transparent blue of 5,300,000 Nemophila blossoms, like a giant sapphire ribbon, pouring straight from the sky and erasing all boundaries with the ocean. By mid-October, the entire landscape instantly transforms into flaming red waves of 33,000 kochia bushes, creating a sharp, fierce contrast with the deep purple of the Pacific Ocean at dusk. Few know that to achieve this splendid vegetation, the ground had to endure decades of brutal devastation by explosives from the old Mito East military airfield of the Imperial Army. Right inside the park, the Tamago no Mori forest also creates a romantic conflict of colors in spring by awakening over 1 million tulips of 250 different varieties under ancient pine trees. Kawachi Wisteria Garden is a world-famous private nature masterpiece in Japan, with magnificent beauty created by human hands. This garden owns over 22 diverse species of wisteria flowers, forming brilliant tunnels with a maximum length of 360 feet. The founder spent over 50 years caring for ancient trees and transformed the wild hill into a spectacular wisteria flower space. The drooping flower clusters interweave densely to form a vivid carpet covering the entire sky and bringing an overwhelming visual experience for every visitor. This place became a vivid heritage symbol of the city and is always on the list of the most beautiful places in Japan, chosen by world media. The unique combination of rare plant species and meticulous care techniques has affirmed the sustainable value of this special tourist attraction. Whenever spring passes, the purple color of wisteria flowers gives way to the brilliant landscape of hundreds of maple trees turning bright red. Kamikochi is known as the land where the gods descended, possessing absolute pristine beauty amidst the Japanese Alps. Kamikochi sits at an elevation of 4,921 feet above sea level, enclosed by mountain peaks rising over 9,842 feet that form a natural barrier. The Azusa River, flowing through the center of Kamakochi, carries a distinct turquoise color thanks to the process of dissolving rare minerals from melting ice. The local administration implemented a policy banning private cars starting in 1975 to protect the ecosystem from the negative impacts of mass tourism. The lakes in Kamakochi formed by volcanic activity have created a mysterious landscape with ancient tree trunks submerged deep under the clear water. Visitors can easily observe stoats changing their fur to a pure white color during the winter to camouflage themselves within the incredibly fascinating nature. Xingyi Wanfenglin is the most impressive geological masterpiece in the world, with a system of cone-shaped limestone mountains concentrated densely on a vast scale. More than 20,000 limestone mountains rise independently from the flat ground, creating a magnificent natural landscape that is completely different from ordinary mountainous terrain. Spanning an area of more than 770 square miles, this location is assessed by experts as the most typical and largest-scale model of cone-shaped limestone structures. The limestone weathering process that took place continuously over millions of years has created unique geological formations, making this place a massive natural museum. The perfect combination of peaks more than 5,000 feet high and vast agricultural fields creates an open space that is breathtakingly spacious and quiet. This is not only a high-class natural scenic spot, but also a place that preserves long-standing, traditional, indigenous cultural values recognized at the national level. Xiaolan Lake is a magnificent artificial landmark in Thailand, which possesses hundreds of limestone mountains rising straight from the turquoise water. This area preserves an ancient tropical rainforest ecosystem, featuring geological formations that are more than 160 million years old. Beneath the calm surface of the lake, Traces of submerged villages and ancient trees create an extremely unique underground world. Visitors often choose to experience life on floating houses to directly observe wild animals around the banks of the lake. The giant limestone cave system, combined with a depth of up to 300 feet, makes this a very attractive wild nature exploration site. Many rare hornbill bird species and other primates frequently appear in the old forest area surrounding this vast lake. The perfect combination of engineering and geological beauty has turned this place into a must-see destination on the world map. Pangongso is a unique natural masterpiece located at an altitude of 14,270 feet, famous worldwide for its breathtaking and constantly changing colors. This giant saltwater lake stretches 134 miles across arid mountains, creating a striking visual contrast between the water and the surrounding landscape. Although it is located in harsh terrain, the lake becomes a stopover for many rare bird species, contributing to the unique ecosystem in the Trans-Himalaya region. The entire water surface freezes completely solid during winter, allowing humans to move directly on the flat ice layer like a giant mirror. Absolute silence combined with its vast scale has turned this place into a natural masterpiece, bringing an overwhelming feeling to every traveler when they admire it. Nuwara Eliya is the most prominent highland city in Sri Lanka because it possesses the beauty of an ancient British town within the tropical region. This place once played an important role as the summer capital for the elite during the colonial period, with unique Tudor-style architectural buildings. The surrounding natural scenery leaves a strong impression thanks to the vertical cliffs with a drop of 3,445 feet, creating spectacular views. Located at an elevation of 6,128 feet above sea level, this area has become the center for producing world-famous premium tea. The tea hills, stretching across steep slopes along with abundant vegetation, have created a separate and extremely rare cloud forest ecosystem. The combination of long-standing architectural heritage and rolling mountainous terrain makes this place an impressive destination for many people who love to explore. Joffre Lakes in British Columbia, Canada, is world famous for 3 lakes with a vibrant and magical turquoise color. This unrealistic color is created from rock flour because tiny mineral particles crushed by glaciers for thousands of years have mixed into the water. Tiny rock particles float and scatter sunlight to turn the lakes into a bright visual highlight like giant gemstones. This area is located at an elevation of more than 5,000 feet above sea level. The surrounding steep cliffs create a magnificent natural wall. The terrain here is a living testament to the Ice Age, with deep U-shaped valleys carved by the movement of ancient ice blocks. This is an outdoor geological museum, where the interaction between ice and rock creates one of the most impressive natural landscapes on the planet. Moraine Lake possesses a breathtaking beauty with its vibrant turquoise water formed by the refraction of light through glacial rock flour. Located at an elevation of 6,183 feet, this lake is a natural masterpiece surrounded by 10 massive mountain peaks standing tall. Tiny particles of fine rock flour continuously settle in the lake to create magical colors that leave every viewer feeling incredibly overwhelmed. Although it covers an area of only 120 acres, this location remains a global icon that was once featured on the $20 bill. The strict management of private vehicles helps this place maintain its pristine beauty and preserve a priceless natural ecosystem. Visitors coming here have the opportunity to connect directly with ancient glacial meltwater in a quiet space completely separated from the rest of the world. Abraham Lake in Canada possesses a unique beauty due to the phenomenon of millions of methane gas bubbles frozen perfectly under the clear water. These gas masses are formed from the decomposition of organic matter on the lake bottom before being trapped in the solid ice layers. Although it is a man-made reservoir with an area of 53.7 square miles, this location still creates strange artistic patterns that leave viewers amazed. The surreal landscape here was created entirely by nature over many decades, offering a visual experience different from everywhere else on the planet. The combination of turquoise color from glacial rock flour and crystal bubble columns forms a magnificent natural display space. When light shines through the lake's surface, the stacked bubble columns create a brilliant crystal effect that leaves visitors in awe. This majestic beauty attracts many international photographers to explore and capture the stunning moments of natural terrain. This location represents a harmonious combination of a hydroelectric project and the pristine beauty of the majestic Canadian Rocky Mountain ecosystem. Spirit Island at Jasper National Park in Canada is known as the location with the most perfect natural composition in the Rocky Mountains. This island is actually a connected island because it only separates from the mainland when the lake water level rises significantly. The limestone peaks surrounding the area at 5,400 feet high create a natural fortress that protects the pristine landscape. This is not only a famous landmark, but also a place of great spiritual significance for the local Stony Nakoda people. Because the local ecosystem is very sensitive, visitors are strictly prohibited from stepping onto the island to avoid eroding the thin surface soil. When the mountains reflect on the turquoise water, the landscape creates a beautiful picture that makes this place a symbol of Canada. Havasu Falls in Arizona is famous throughout the world because of the surreal beauty of the turquoise water contrasting strongly with the red sandstone cliffs. This destination is considered a magnificent natural oasis as it hides completely within the arid canyon with terrain changing continuously after each flood. Natural travertine dams, formed from the long process of mineral deposition, have created unique limestone stairs amidst the fresh-flowing stream. Especially, visitors need to complete a 10 miles hike from the starting point to be able to access this rare geological wonder of the Earth. The cliff structure in this area possesses geological layers that record millions of years of history, proving the strong transformation of nature through eras. Havasu Falls is not only an impressive tourist spot, but also a sacred land, where the cultural values of the Havasupai tribe are preserved intact for many centuries. Maroon Bells in Colorado is the most photographed location in North America because of its elegant beauty and unusual chic reddish-purple geological composition. These two towering mountains reach heights of 14,163 feet and 14,019 feet, creating a perfect, symmetrical shape on the quiet lake. The mountain peaks are composed mainly of fragile sedimentary mudstone. This loose and crumbling rock structure makes the location extremely dangerous for amateur climbers during the process of conquering the summits. The unstable geological characteristics have earned the mountains the nickname of the Deadly Bells. The contrast between the reddish-purple color of the stone and the colors of the vegetation creates a natural picture that always changes magically with the seasons. This landmark plays an important role in providing fresh water to the surrounding area and is a symbol of the spirit of exploring the American West. McWay Falls is a rare natural wonder in California where the water flows directly onto a pristine beach by the vast ocean. The formation of this landmark began after a major landslide in 1983, which created a beautiful sand beach right at the base of the waterfall. With a height of 80 feet, the freshwater stream, cascading from the majestic granite cliff, creates a spectacular view that people cannot reach by land. Thanks to this rugged terrain and the difficulty of traveling here, the area maintains its pristine beauty while remaining completely separated from outside influence. Although nature changes constantly over time, the waterfall still maintains a steady flow and has become an impressive symbol of the American coastline. Hamilton Pool Preserve is in Texas, United States, about 23 miles from Austin, where a natural pool rests beneath a collapsed limestone roof. The pool formed when the roof of an underground river collapsed, leaving a large hollow between rock, plants, and green water. The preserve protects native plants, wildlife habitat, and the fragile limestone structure surrounding the pool. A waterfall, about 50 feet high, flows from the cliff into the pool, creating scenery like an open cave inside a natural canyon. Ancient cultural traces show that people knew this place long before it became a famous travel destination. Huacachina, Peru, sits in the coastal desert of South America, where a small lake is surrounded by giant sand dunes. This oasis has only about 100 permanent residents, but it draws many people through its water, palms, and sea of sand. The dunes around Huacachina can rise over 1,600 feet, so you may feel like standing below walls of sand. Because the groundwater that once fed the lake has declined, people have pumped in water since 2015 to keep the oasis alive. From above, Huacachina appears as a small green core enclosed by steep and open sand slopes. NASA Earth Observatory once called this place the only natural desert oasis in South America in a 2020 Earth observation image. Laguna Colorada, on the high plateau of southwestern Bolivia, is a shallow salt lake famous for reddish-brown water across a dry, cold land. The lake sits at about 14,035 feet, making the journey feel distant, harsh, and clearly isolated. Laguna Colorada covers about 23 square miles, yet its average depth is only about 1 foot, creating an unusually thin water surface. The lake's reddish-brown color comes from algae, red sediment, and salty water, forming a rare biological landscape. White borax patches on the lake are not snow or ice, but minerals, so the scenery can easily confuse people from far away. Laguna Colorada has been recognized as an internationally important wetland under the Ramsar Convention since 1990. Lençóis Maranhenses lies in northeastern Brazil, where white dunes across about 604 square miles hold thousands of seasonal rainwater lagoons. Although it looks like a desert, this place receives high rainfall, so dune valleys can become freshwater lagoons for several months. Ocean winds constantly push sand inland, forming dunes up to about 246 feet high and changing their shapes over time. UNESCO recognized Lençóis Maranhenses as a World Heritage Site in 2024 because wind, rain, and sea processes create a rare landscape. Some temporary lagoons can be deep enough for swimming, but after the dry season, they shrink and disappear through a natural cycle. The most shocking point is that this place looks like a desert, while working as a giant rainwater reservoir for months. You may be surprised that fish still appear in many temporary lagoons, even though they exist only for months among white dunes. In Brazil's Bahia state, Chapada Diamantina National Park opens like an ancient stone maze, where waterfalls, caves, and deep canyons hide inside the plateau. The park covers about 587 square miles, large enough to feel wild, isolated, and hard to understand in one short trip. The name Diamantina is linked to diamonds because this region once became known for intense diamond mining during the 19th century. The scenery feels unusual because dry plateau surfaces, huge cliffs, and hidden water channels exist together inside rocky valleys. A place once tied to diamonds is now more famous for ancient rocks, underground water, trekking, and nature conservation. At southern Chile's edge, Torres del Paine appears like a land shaped by wind, ice, and granite into a severe Patagonia landscape. The national park covers about 561,666 acres, letting you cross many terrains inside one protected area. The granite towers formed from magma cooling deep underground, then rising and being heavily carved by glaciers. You will see low grassland sitting directly below high rock mountains, creating a sudden shift between open ground and vertical walls. UNESCO recognized Torres del Paine as a biosphere reserve in 1978 for its Patagonia ecosystems and mountain ice scenery. Wildfires have spread strongly here because hard access and extreme Patagonia winds make firefighting difficult. Valle de la Luna in Chile's Atacama Desert is famous for rock, salt, and sand terrain that resembles an alien surface. The valley stands at about 8,366 feet, making the empty landscape and hardened ground feel highly unusual. This place became a nature sanctuary in 1982 because of its moon-like scenery, fragile salt crust, and unusual landforms. You can see dunes, sharp rocks, white salt ground, and cracked earth changing constantly during a single journey. Atacama is dry because large mountain ranges block moisture and a cold Pacific current influences the coast. Because humidity is extremely low, surface material breaks down more slowly, allowing strange rock formations to survive much longer than humid regions. If you leave the controlled route, footprints or tire marks can remain for years across the nearly rainless desert surface. El Chaltén lies in Patagonia, in southern Argentina, where a small town opens towards stone mountains, cold ice, strong winds, and wild terrain. In 1994, this place was recognized as Argentina's national trekking capital because many walking routes begin close to the residential area. The landscape changes sharply during the day, as sun, clouds, rain, and cold air move continuously across granite mountains. El Chaltén was founded in 1985, yet it became an important Argentine presence in a remote mountain border zone. Its population was only about 1,861 people in 2022, creating a strong feeling of isolation. You can clearly sense glacial traces through valleys, cold lakes, exposed rock, and mountain slopes shaped by powerful winds. San Blas Islands sit off Panama's Caribbean coast, opening into a low island chain where white sand, palms, and clear water create complete isolation. This place has more than 365 islands, yet its strongest appeal comes from tiny sand patches lying close to untouched Caribbean water. You will not find large cities or dense resort zones here, because the Guna community still controls tourism to protect landscape and identity. Many islands are only thin rims of sand with low palm rows, making the whole scene look fragile against waves, wind, and rising sea. Coral reefs near the shore create shallow, clear water, where you can see marine life directly beneath the blue surface. Panama once prepared to move hundreds of Guna families from low Caribbean islands in one of the country's first climate resettlement projects. San Blas is powerful because it feels like a tropical paradise, while also revealing how low islands face the threat of rising seas. Le Morne-Brabant stands in southwestern Mauritius, where a basalt mountain rises about 1,824 feet beside the Indian Ocean, creating an unforgettable scene. The mountain once sheltered escaped enslaved people because its steep cliffs made access extremely difficult for those trying to hunt them down. From above, Le Morne appears with shallow lagoons, coral reefs, and sandy edges, forming a highly unusual natural layout. The underwater waterfall illusion appears when sand and sediment are pulled by currents across the edge of a deep ocean shelf. UNESCO recognized Le Morne-Brabant in 2008, not only for geological beauty, but also for its painful memory of freedom. You will notice its difference because nature, history, and dangerous terrain all meet in one mountain standing before the sea. In Seychelles, Source d'Argent opens as an unusual beach where huge granite boulders press close to clear, shallow water and create instant curiosity. The beach is only about 66 feet wide at its largest point, yet rounded granite rocks make the narrow space feel intense and unforgettable. When the tide falls, more sand and stone appear, changing the shoreline's shape clearly within the same day. Ant's source d'argent is known worldwide because its beauty comes from rare coastal geology, not from artificial buildings or modern tourist structures. You can recognize this place through ancient granite boulders, shallow blue water, and bright sand appearing widely in travel photography. In western Madagascar, Tsinghi de Bemaraha appears as a limestone land torn by time into a sharp maze, rising strangely through dry forest. This place is famous for stone pinnacles nearly 300 feet high, packed tightly together and forcing you to move with extreme care. The name Tsinghi comes from the idea of ground impossible to cross barefoot, because the rock surface has sharp edges, narrow cracks, and deep drops. Rainwater and groundwater carved the limestone for millions of years, forming stone towers, hollow caves, and tight, natural corridors. Some tours require suspension bridges, cables, and fixed ladders because the sharp stone ground does not allow normal walking. In this hot and dry environment, many plants and animals still survive inside isolated rock gaps, giving the area strong biological value. UNESCO recognized Tsinghi de Bemaraha in 1990, turning this dangerous stone landscape into a rare natural symbol of Madagascar and the world. Matmata in southern Tunisia opens like a hollowed land where houses do not rise upward but quietly sink into dry ground. You step down into round open courtyards, then see rooms carved around earthen walls like a living structure beneath the hot desert. The troglodyte houses here can reach about 39 feet deep, helping interiors stay cooler in dry heat with little shade. From ground level, Matmata looks almost empty, but underneath it holds a hidden living world that feels practical, enduring, and unusual. This place became globally famous after appearing in Star Wars, linking its underground homes with the image of a desert planet. Matmata is compelling because its beauty is not luxury, but the way people turned harsh earth into a stable place to live. Guides Gorges in Morocco opens within the Atlas Mountains, where a winding mountain road makes cliffs and deep drops press close to your view. This gorge was carved by the Dades River over a long time, leaving rock walls about 650 to 1,600 feet high. Many rock layers once lay beneath an ancient sea, then were lifted, compressed, and cut deeply by seasonal floodwater. Below the dry valley, a narrow green strip follows the water, making the harsh stone mountains around it feel even more exposed. The sharp hairpin bends cling to the mountainside, letting you see how small human roads become beside vertical terrain. Dades Gorges is striking because it proves that limited water can still cut mountains into a giant stone corridor over millions of years. Blyde River Canyon stands in northeastern South Africa, where a green canyon opens between deep cliffs, thick forests, and powerful cold water. The canyon stretches about 16 miles, making the viewing journey feel like crossing a massive landscape that keeps expanding before your eyes. Its average depth reaches about 2,460 feet, creating giant cliffs that make the entire landscape feel intense from above. Towering red rock walls, mixed with dense green forest, give this place a wild appearance, unlike many other famous canyons. The atmosphere changes quickly here, as low clouds, shifting light, and cold air move across the wide mountain slopes. Around 1,000 plant species have been recorded here, making Blyde River Canyon one of South Africa's richest canyon ecosystems. Whitehaven Beach lies in Queensland, Australia, opening a white sand shore about 4 miles long beside clear water, making you notice it immediately. The sand here contains about 98% silica, so the surface looks bright, smooth, and does not heat quickly like common beaches. When the tide changes direction, sand and water form natural curves, making the landscape shift constantly in front of you. You can reach Whitehaven Beach by boat, seaplane, or helicopter, turning the journey itself into a memorable travel experience. This beach has been honored by many international rankings because of its untouched setting, clear water, and rare silica sand. The sand is so fine that it can enter phones, cameras, and electronic devices, so its beauty comes with a real risk. Whitehaven Beach once appeared in the racing game Forza Horizon 3, showing that its image has entered digital entertainment culture. The title of Earth's whitest sand beach has made Lucky Bay in Western Australia an astonishing natural wonder. The sand here has a pure white tone and extremely fine texture, looking like a glittering snow band beside the ocean. Ocean waves enter the bay gently, like soft silk ribbons, keeping the water surface calm year-round, like a giant swimming pool. Experts officially recognize this place as having Australia's whitest sand after many extremely strict scientific tests. Stretching magnificently across Australia's New South Wales, the heritage wonder Blue Mountains captivates visitors with legendary blue-tinted sandstone cliffs. The mountain range received its name from sunlight, refracting through evaporating eucalyptus oil, creating the region's distinctive blue-colored mist. This flat sandstone plateau was eroded by rainfall over millions of years, forming incredibly strange, deep mountain valley landscapes. The scenery displays glowing orange rock walls that strongly contrast against the dark green tones of the surrounding rainforest. Deep, humid gorges became a stronghold protecting the Wollemi pine, an ancient species dating back to the prehistoric dinosaur era. The massive valley network serves as a shared habitat supporting more than 100 eucalyptus species, representing 14% of the world's total. The wild beauty of these towering stone walls became a sacred destination, challenging adventurous travelers passionate about global exploration and extreme trekking. Giant geological cracks tore open the barren desert ground of Western Australia, giving birth to the haunting Karijini National Park. The flat land suddenly splits apart, revealing deep, fire-colored gorges that hide an astonishing upside-down world. Flat stone layers stack with remarkable order, curving like fossilized silk bands shaped by nature over millions of years. The blood-red color of the rock walls comes from massive natural rusting, preserving traces of time from Earth's earliest formation. At the deep gorge floors lie still underground pools, emerald blue and clear enough to reveal every stone vein. This vast land stretches across about 2,300 square miles, covering an area 3 times larger than tiny Luxembourg. Milford Sound, hidden within New Zealand's Fiordland National Park, opens a magnificent seascape worthy of belonging among Earth's most beautiful places. Towering granite cliffs rise straight from sea level to over 5,200 feet, twice the height of Burj Khalifa. This dramatic terrain was carved by huge prehistoric glaciers, leaving a broad, flat-bottomed valley now flooded by the ocean. Record rainfall of about 276 inches yearly turns bare rock walls into giant water curtains, with thousands of waterfalls dropping seaward. Rainwater carries dissolved organic compounds from old forests, forming dark, tea-colored freshwater that floats completely above the salty seawater below. This unique layering blocks sunlight, allowing rare black coral from the deep ocean to live unusually close to the surface. Lake Pukaki, set within New Zealand's South Island Mackenzie Basin, opens wide emerald blue water that immediately captures every viewer's attention. The lake's magical milky blue color is created by millions of fine rock flour particles suspended from glacier erosion. This giant body of water reaches a maximum depth of about 230 feet, enough to fully drown a 20-story skyscraper. This majestic natural setting once replaced Hollywood visual effects as a major filming backdrop for the Hobbit blockbuster series. In the language of the indigenous Maori people, the name Pukaki means bottleneck, referring to its distinctive, narrowed shape. The lakeshore is surrounded by millions of bare gray pebbles left behind after ancient glacial moraine deposits retreated. Where the mainland ends and the vast ocean begins, New Zealand's rocky Nugget Point appears like a magnificent frontier outpost beside the sea. The rocky cape extends into the ocean like a giant, grey granite finger, resisting massive waves crashing continuously for thousands of years. White sea foam explodes around the base of steep cliffs, creating strong contrast against the rough, dark grey stone surfaces. The vertical cliffs at the Cape plunge directly into the open ocean, reaching heights of more than 420 feet. A narrow trail follows the mountain ridge beside towering rock edges, creating a breathless feeling above an extremely deep abyss. The architectural highlight of the Cape is a historic white stone lighthouse built in 1869 to guide passing ships. Aitutaki, a coral reef paradise in the Cook Islands, anchors itself alone in the South Pacific and captivates the world with crystal-clear water. Its extremely shallow average depth of about 7 feet lets sunlight reach the sandy bottom, reflecting back brilliant emerald blue tones. The strong outer coral ring acts as a great natural filter, blocking powerful waves and protecting the entire lagoon. The landscape displays a unique hybrid geological structure, combining a flat coral atoll with a rugged black basalt mountain. The radiant charm of Matera Beach in French Polynesia comes from white sand blending with the South Pacific Ocean, placing it among paradise destinations. The sea surface separates into layered color bands, shifting smoothly from transparent white tones into brilliant emerald shades full of tropical splendor. Ocean waves enter the bay gently like soft silk, keeping the water surface 100% calm like a vast infinity pool. The powdery white sand wraps around the gentle bay with purity so high it reflects sunlight with a diamond-like sparkle. The water here has record clarity, with visibility reaching the underwater continental shelf at depths beyond 100 feet. Beneath the surface opens a bold open-air aquarium, where groups of eagle rays calmly swim close to visitors' feet. Guarding the American Southwest with vast territory, Zion National Park overwhelms every sense through its fiery sandstone beauty. Extremely high iron oxide content in the geology gives the park's monolithic rock mass blood red, bright pink, and burnt orange surfaces. Hanging gardens sprout in mid-air where groundwater seeps from vertical cracks, creating one of the park's most unique biological wonders. This giant sandstone landscape covers nearly 232 square miles, completely filled with canyon systems and wild forests. The highly complex vertical cliff terrain here was once chosen as a backdrop for breathless escape scenes in Hollywood cinema. The title of the world's largest natural cave transformed Sondung in Quangbin into one of Earth's most unmatched natural wonders. The cave's largest section reaches about 656 feet high and 492 feet wide, large enough to contain a neighborhood with 40-story buildings. Rainwater filtering through the cave ceiling carried minerals for millions of years, forming giant stone columns rising dramatically beneath the underground darkness. This place contains the world's tallest stalagmite at about 262 feet high, proudly matching the height of the Statue of Liberty. Deep inside the cave exists a lush green oasis where a tropical primary rainforest grows powerfully across the limestone floor. The wonder's popularity forced strict visitor limits, allowing only about 1,000 people to enter during an entire operating year. Cleft Island, a granite mass off Victoria, Australia, has a unique giant skull shape, making it one of the world's strangest islands. The island's huge carved opening forms a sea cave arch about 427 feet wide, large enough for a standard football field. This unique natural dome reaches about 197 feet high, resembling a solid high-rise building standing in the ocean. While the island's outer surface has been eroded into rough stone, the cave interior remains perfectly smooth and polished. Because humans cannot easily reach it, the island became an isolated biological fortress, ruled by thousands of seabird families. Badab-e-Surt in Iran deserves recognition as a magnificent wonder for its brilliant orange travertine stone terrace structure. Hundreds of small stepped pools stack and curve gently like stone lace bands, wrapping across the mountain slope. The still water inside the pools becomes hundreds of disconnected giant mirrors, continuously reflecting shifting bands of light. The architecture of these natural terraces became a great inspiration for traditional Persian carpet-weaving artisans. In 2008, the national government officially recognized this site as the second protected national natural heritage. Called the Great 30-kilometer freshwater glacier of Argentina's Patagonia, Perito Moreno astonishes the planet with its seemingly eternal ice structure. This geological wonder maintains perfect balance, allowing the entire ice mass to keep moving forward about 7 feet each day. The vertical ice wall rising above the lake reaches an average height of about 243 feet, forming a massive frozen fortress. The electric blue glow of this ancient ice forms because crystal structures have been extremely compressed for hundreds of years. The glacier surface is split by thousands of deep crevasses, creating a jagged scene like a furious ocean turned into stone. This great wonder was recognized by UNESCO as a World Natural Heritage Site to preserve its complete Ice Age value. Emerging from the barren desert through proud jets of water, Fly Geyser in Nevada creates a surreal geological masterpiece, unlike anywhere else on Earth. Three rough, rocky mounds continuously shoot streams of water into the air, transforming the strange landform into a fascinating, natural artwork. The entire rocky structure is covered with extreme neon colors ranging from burnt orange and vivid red to deep green shades. Surrounding the base are dozens of stepped pools forming highly unusual stone terraces resembling giant natural rice fields in the desert. Rising proudly in eastern Bali, Indonesia, Tirta Ganga Water Palace captivates visitors through its mysterious and majestic royal beauty. The maze-like pathways were built from polygonal stepping stones floating above crystal-clear ponds, creating the thrilling sensation of walking on water. A handcrafted stone fountain tower stands proudly at the center, shaped like a lotus blossom and rising about 33 feet high. Dozens of black sandstone statues representing Hindu epic deities stand firmly around the grounds, guarding the sacred purity of the flowing water. This architectural complex honors the sacred Ganges River through the name Tirta Ganga, symbolizing the highest form of holy water. Created in 1946, this royal masterpiece blends modern Western artistic influence with traditional Balinese sculptural craftsmanship in a unique architectural fusion. Floating like a red-tiled stone flower above the deep blue Adriatic Sea, Montenegro's fortified island of Sveti Stefan proudly challenges the passage of time. The entire small rocky island is enclosed by weathered fortress walls, containing a magnificent cluster of ancient houses with glowing red-tiled roofs. The rustic red color of the terracotta rooftops contrasts perfectly against the dark emerald tones of the Mediterranean seawater surrounding the island. A soft pink quartz sand strip connects the island with the mainland, dividing the sea into two perfectly symmetrical halves. The beach's unique pale pink color formed through the mixture of white quartz sand and eroded fragments of marine shells. In 1960, the island officially opened as a private resort hotel and quickly became a gathering place for global legends. A giant tunnel cave piercing straight through a limestone mountain transformed Angel Eye Mountain in Khao Bang into an astonishing natural masterpiece. Around the mountain base lies a smooth, peaceful grass valley, creating powerful contrast between the soft green fields and grey rocky cliffs. Kayaking across the flooded lake feels completely surreal, allowing visitors to glide above transparent water, clear enough to reveal the bottom. The site officially received UNESCO Global Geopark recognition in 2018 because of its exceptionally valuable geological heritage system. The valley floor contains tens of thousands of openings connected to underground rivers, draining enormous water volumes completely within only several days. The hydrological systems surrounding the mountain can suddenly transform from smooth grassland into a mirror-like lake reflecting the rocky summit. Guarding the national border in Khao Bang province, Ban Jiok waterfall overwhelms the world with its gigantic white cascading ribbons of water. The waterfall stretches nearly 984 feet wide, filling the vast landscape with countless streams pouring powerfully into the river below. This waterfall proudly ranks as Southeast Asia's largest natural waterfall and the world's fourth largest transnational waterfall system. The water drops freely about 98 feet through 3 consecutive limestone terraces, tearing the flow into thousands of silk-like streams. The immense force of falling water creates a thin mist cloud spreading across thousands of square feet, transforming the scenery into a dreamlike world. Ancient tree roots cling tightly onto limestone rocks against the crushing current, continuing to grow proudly in the middle of the waterfall.